It's cool when it's convenient. When we seem to be gelling, when we seem to be on the same page, when everything seems to be working great.
Yeah.
Yes, I do. But then that moment was like, no, he got this, she got that. Divorce.
Yeah, it's that's kind of why I said autopilot, because when you was talking when you were saying what you were saying, it was I was thinking just like what autopilot is on a plane. Like, yeah, I just think for a plane, like it's a switch where you can just click it and sit back and just let it do what it's supposed to do.
Yeah.
And then even in the, if there's turbulence thing that's going on, you still know it's going to take you where you got to go. Instead of when the hard times come, like you have to take it off and actually guide it.
Yeah, but and that's what frustrates me the most, I think, because every relationship is not, you can't put it on autopilot.
Correct.
There may be seasons where you can have seasons of where it's on autopilot. Because you're going through something, and so the other, like, even like a friend can understand, like, they're going through something, I'm gonna give them their space, or whatever the case may be. Or y'all both are in the same phase and y'all are there's seasons of autopilot.
Yeah.
But from start to end, for any relationship, and that's even with parents.
Yeah.
Even with kids, like, it's not the same because you're constantly changing. So you cannot expect to be able to put your relationships on autopilot for the duration.
No.
If it is, you will be like, on cruise control, which you do with your car. Yeah, it works for a certain amount of time. But then what happens when the speed limit changes? Or what happens when you got to stop for like a train or whatever, or a stoplight, whatever? You can't do it.
You can't.
And if you do, what happens?
Yeah. And again,
an accident.
And part of that, it is you have to be, and I guess I look at it like this: you have to have goals. You have to be able to, because you got to be able to have the vision to see it. If you're just leaving it on autopilot, are you paying attention to what's going on?
Not as much as you would if you're actually driving.
Exactly. So that's why it's like, if you're seeing the things, you're watching what's going on, you'll be able to, pull the car over when you're starting to see, okay, we need to work something out. We need to figure this out, instead of just like, oh, well, I'm just gonna let the tire pop. Let's just keep driving. Like, no, you have to slow down, stop, regroup, and then keep going. So,
this is the B-side, 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 the marriage. This is the B-side, 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 the marriage.
Hi, and welcome to another episode of the B-Side of Marriage podcast. I'm your host, Rashonda, and this is my husband and co-host,
Jason.
And here at the B-Side, we talk about everything related to marriage. The good, the bad, the real, the A, and the B-side. So if you're joining us for the first time, welcome. This is a B-Side After Dark, okay? Life is lifing, and we're recording at night, so who knows what's going to happen, okay? And if you're returning, yes, it's another B-Side After Dark. So come in, buckle up, and enjoy the ride. Oh yeah, I forgot another piece. And if you're like watching us on YouTube, please be sure to like, comment, subscribe, all the things. And if you're listening to on any of the audio platforms, please be sure to do the same.
As well, follow us on Facebook at The B-Side of Marriage and on Instagram at B-Side of Marriage.
Okay, so let's jump into it. All right, our first segment is where we share an A and B side moment from our week. And since we haven't recorded in a couple of weeks, we got a little stash.
Okay.
So what you got?
So I guess my A side would be, No, because I'm just trying to think. There's a couple things. So like, with my journey, me being type 2 diabetic, I'm just that for me. That's getting results that I'm going in the right direction that I want. That all the stuff that I'm doing is working. So it's like over time I'm still. I'm gaining muscle, but my body weight's kind of staying at the same thing. But my numbers are showing that my muscle mass is going back up. As prior to this, it was going down. So that's for me the A side. Because again, I'm keeping all my levels in a good range. So I'm hoping, I'll be able to get off the medication after, maybe my next checkup. My and then, like I say, B-side is, again, like you kind of said earlier, just life is life. And like
It is.
we're, just running. I'm not saying running, we're doing a lot with the kids. With school for you, getting ready for graduation. So it's like a lot of stuff going on. So it's like, we're still finding time for each other, but we're still playing the passing by each other throughout the week. So that's kind of one of the things that, again, I know we are working towards, but it's still a lot of responsibility we got on both sides. So. What about you?
Okay, so my A, like we haven't recorded in a long time. So my A is getting to go to Charlotte for cousin Tiani's wedding. It was it literally gave me family reunion vibes. It was so great. It was just great to have like our kids meet cousins that were the same age, younger. It was just to meet their cousins, get to hang out, get to build relationships with them. And that's just of the new relationships. And then also too, it was great to see them build new ones that they didn't really have before. Even me. The running joke was, well, for me, because I created the joke and whatever. But I was just like, I'm like an OG in the family now. Like, I'm not the OG, but I'm like the new school OG in the family. And I was just like, to be able to, semi-haze, new potential significant others, as well as just getting to meet like the Jersey family and be like, no, I've been in here, like I'm here. And so it's just a difference.
Yeah, my Jersey family had a joke. They was like, yeah, it was good. It was good to finally meet your wife. Because, you said you was married, but we never met her before. And it's been. And
that was like what was so crazy because I've been we've been married, it'll be 15 years in December.
Yeah.
This is my first time meeting them. So it's been a while since I've had to meet new family like this.
And a lot of the reason is because, when I would see the Jersey side of the family, it was always for funerals and stuff like that.
Right.
So, and I would only go. She wouldn't go because she would stay here with the family, with the kids. So that's where it's like over the past, 15 years, that's really what it was.
Right.
So I will always see the Jersey side family without my wife.
Right.
Because she's at home with the kids. It's like, I can't bring everybody. So.
Yeah. And that's what was so weird. Cause I was like, wait, I haven't done this in a long time. Like trying to whatever. And then I also have a history with Charlotte.
Yeah.
And meeting new family.
That's true.
So I was just like, anyways, so it was great. Got to feel young for a while. Like, tried to do things old school where we would stay up. Oh my God, to the crack of dawn.
Yep, in the morning. Yeah.
Consecutive days.
Yes.
And all the body felt it when we got back.
Oh, yeah.
But while we were there, it was great. And also, too, and I don't have the history with some of the cousins, like the length of history Jay has, but just seeing some of the cousins, be older and have their own kids and their families and just how they're like adults and how they're, and I, like I said, I've only known them for a short amount of time, so I can't even imagine how you feel about it. But it was just like, it was just a beautiful thing. And then so it was great. I would say that was definitely an A-side.
That's definitely true.
Yeah.
Forgot about that.
Yeah. I was like, we haven't recorded in a while.
Yeah.
So yeah. So that's my A. Now I have a lot of B's, but I'm gonna hit on two.
Okay.
They kind of relate to each other.
Okay.
One B-side is this weather. This Texas weather.
Oh, it's a butt.
Is the butt. Okay? So when we went to Charlotte, we got good fall weather.
We got some real good fall.
It was great. Had the sweaters, had the layers. It was a beautiful thing. Then we come home and it's supposed to be fall weather, but I'm like, why is it so humid? And not only it's like, you want to complain about the humidity. We just want to be in the 90s and have a summer weather while we still have fall sports. And it's hot.
But you're missing the one caveat.
No. What? I was thinking about go.
Okay.
And then the allergies?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
So then we're going to then create these unruly seasonal allergies to have your eyes watering, nose running, nose itching. You gotta cough. It's just so disrespectful.
Yes.
And I'm over it. I am over the Texas weather right now. I need, everybody got seasonal allergies. Especially our boys. Our boys have it, they have it pretty bad.
Yeah.
But now, all of us, the whole family, is just, we don't know what we got. We were like, well, do we got the COVID? We got the new COVID? Is the COVID back? No, it ain't. It's just these disrespectful allergies that are not allowing us to be successful. And you try to put on makeup, and then your eyes start watering, and then your nose start running, and then you start coughing, and then people looking at you like you got diseases.
But see what it is
it's too much.
It's the plants. The plants are confused too, because it be hot and hot. They ain't get no water. Then we get a little rain, they get a little water, they start blooming. It's like, wait, but now it's cold. Wait, what do we do? Now it's hot again. So I think the plants, everybody's confused.
Everybody's confused.
Because like I said, our
grass was like, oh, we coming back? Oh, we're not.
All summer we was cool. Then with this little kind of fall type of thing, now we starting to see pollen in the pool. We ain't never seen no pollen in the pool this whole time. Spring, even summer. Now it's like, why does my pool see? So that's what I'm saying. I think the plants, the trees, everybody's confused because the weather because again, when we got back, it was in the 40s. Yes. In the morning, it'd be in the 40s. The kids had to wear gloves to school because they're talking about, my hands are freezing. Gloves. And then afternoon, 90 degrees. Mm-hmm. Like, that's how people really get sick. That's 50 degrees from 40. Like, it's crazy. Yeah, so I'm sorry to take yours off. I'm sorry.
But I'm with you. Because even like with the rain, like we was getting rain. We were like, oh, we grass said we coming back. Mm-hmm. Then now we back into drought. We get notices from the HOA. Mm-hmm. Preserve your water consumption. What? I thought it was over that. I'm just, come on now. So hopefully we'll both be able to make it through this episode without tearing up.
Yeah, I'm trying not to rub my eye because
that's why I got the hair over this itchy. One eye.
It's itchy.
So that way I can disguise it. You don't see nothing.
So our second segment is the P2P share, where we share something we listen to, reading or watching. What you got?
I don't have anything, I don't think. What have I been reading? I've been reading just books to keep my head out of school stuff. And what have I been watching? Oh, I will say something that I've been watching to also distract myself from reality. And that's that Love is Blind. The latest season. Now, I'm saying this not as a recommendation. Don't waste your time. That's what this is. Do not waste your time. It is horrible. I mean, they could have had some great storylines, but then now they got lawsuits. And so because of the lawsuits, they only had 2 couples, and it's just not worth it. It is anticlimactic. Yes. Wow. So that's what I have. I have a recommendation to not waste your time on Love is Blind, season 5. Gotcha. On to you, Bob.
So I guess I'm gonna. So what I watched is kind of goes into kind of what we're gonna talk about today.
Okay.
So, because I was listening to a sermon from Lamb Church from Pastor Dorian Cast, and it was just the title was about fear. So, but through the actual, I'm trying to see if I can pull it up real quick. But yeah, it was about fear, and through the actual sermon, there was some things that he was saying that kind of just hit me and made me kind of think about, even in not just with relationships, but even like, in church and stuff like that, you serving and stuff like that. So that's where this episode came from. So I guess I'm just gonna title it "Convenience versus Commitment."
Okay.
So I guess when I say that, what in terms of, I would say, a relationship, what do you think are, like, how do you feel about those words? Are those the same, or do you actually see them as being different?
No, they're definitely not the same.
Okay.
Convenience versus commitment. There are things that I do for our relationship because I'm committed to this for it to be successful.
Okay.
Does not mean it's convenient.
Okay.
Prime example, your love, like the way that you like to be loved, to be shown that you're loved and appreciated, is words of affirmation and physical touch.
Yeah.
Those two they're not always convenient for me.
Gotcha.
Being that I would rather not touch. I would rather, let me phrase it this way. I would rather love you the way that I want to be loved versus love you the way you need to be loved.
Gotcha.
So for me, it's acts of service, quality time. So if we're like hanging out or we're doing, stuff together, like even household stuff together, I'm like, cool. Yeah. But for you, it's the physical touch. Yeah. So it's having to inconvenience myself in order to show that, like, show you love in the way that you want to be shown that.
Okay, no, that's so in other words, so convenience is more of what can you do for me, or it can be more selfish because you want something out of it, but commitment is more of, doing action, putting action behind, behind your thoughts, as well as making an effort for something.
Yeah, I would say, so for me, convenience is what comes naturally. It's the low effort, max gain type of thing. To be committed, though, is taking others, taking your like your needs, your just taking you into consideration. Okay. Which doesn't come natural as a human. We're very selfish beings.
Correct.
So when I am doing something out of my commitment, that is because I am thinking about where are you coming from, what do you need, what have I said that I would do that I might not be doing or showing or whatever that is. Yeah. But it's literally thinking about you.
Gotcha. Okay.
The convenience is, yes, I'm do something that comes naturally, or what will help me out. Like I feel like convenience is more selfish.
No, that's that. Like based on how you said it, that So it made me, it kind of, and this is like where it all comes from the actual episode, because he was talking about how when people think about serving for church and stuff like that, he brought it to himself. He's like, I don't do this because it's at a convenience. That he was like, and he brought it into even like his marriage. He was like, I don't conveniently just, come home from what I'm doing all day from work and just, I'm paraphrasing because I'm not saying exact, but he was like, it's not a convenience. He was like, I made a commitment for my marriage, so when I come home, I'm going to do things that I know I need to do. He was like, oh, that's what it was. He was like, I don't conveniently just watch my kids. Those are my kids. It's a commitment that I've. Why you make that face?
Well, because that's the thing that I have, like fathers babysitting their kids. So that's why I rolled my eyes.
Yeah. Okay.
So.
No, but that was kind of what he was.
Yeah.
That was what he was kind of getting towards, because that's something that's you hear is like, oh, some dads like, I gotta babysit my kids. Like, no, it's like, that's something you're committed to. That's not a convenience that you just want to be like, I'll push that away. I don't feel like doing that right now. So like I said, for the episode, that's why I was really thinking about like the different things with convenience, where people, like when you get in a relationship, how it can be convenient for you to be in a relationship because you're getting something out of it, rather than committing to the relationship. And it's like, so, and I kind of want to ask, like, when we first got started, was it more about, like, did you ever feel it was just convenient, or it was more of you was really committing to the process of what it was?
Can you be more specific about the beginning?
Like,
were we dating?
Yes,
or
when we was dating.
Engaged?
When we was dating. When we was dating. Because so I looked at it. I'll say it this way.
Okay.
For me, what I was doing, I was committing to the process, committing to getting to know you, committing to do what it takes to show you that I'm here, regardless of us being having a long distance relationship. I wanted you to see and really feel that, okay, he's here with me, he's here. For me, it was never about convenience. Like, oh, it's convenient that she's over here, I'm just gonna fly over it. For me, it wasn't like that. I was really committing to it. So does that make sense?
Yes.
Okay.
I was definitely convenient. I was not committed.
Okay.
Because I was not. It goes back to my intention.
Gotcha.
For the relationship. My intent was not for us to get married or for us to even get serious. Like I went into our relationship not even wanting a committed relationship. I was fine if you like dated whatever, as long as we were just honest with each other. And so yeah, it was definitely convenient because now I have somewhere else to travel where I can have somebody to hang out with or to tell me where the spots are and all the things. So it was definitely convenient. Now, when I think about it, when did it switch? I would say for me, it switched when you decided to move to Texas.
Okay.
But we didn't have that conversation.
Correct.
So the way I hid behind that, because of a way to also protect myself, was to say, oh, well, if you're moving kind of these are the parameters. Like, these are like, the things. And then I'm not trying to force you like to like become serious or whatever. But also too, I need a way out if it doesn't look like it's going to go that way. Gotcha. So I think that was the way, I think at that point when we decided that you would move and stay with me, that is when it switched, but it wasn't something that we talked about.
Correct. No, it
wasn't. To
wasn't.
be fair, I don't even, like we talked about all that stuff. I don't think we talked about the deep stuff.
No, I don't. And like I said, yeah, this is kind of the first time I'm kind of hearing that. But
Yeah.
but that, and like you said, that goes to, what convenience is when you're in a relationship. If you're looking for an out,
Yes.
that means that you're only in this relationship because there's something you want out of it. It's not for you, like you said, being dedicated, being selfless, and kind of just, bringing everything together and getting everything in alignment.
Mm-hmm.
So, but no, that's what I was kind of gonna ask regarding, finding a way out, because even just talking with different couples and stuff like that, even people that we know, friends, like, it's interesting. When he was talking, that's kind of where all it hit me. It's like, how many people are in relationships because it's convenient. It's not, and then even just like on TV, it's more about convenience. It's like, all right, what can you do for me? And I guess it's tit for tat, basically, where they go back and forth.
And I feel like now it's so easy to fall into the trap of, you have this idea of what your relationship will be, what your marriage will be.
Yeah.
And so when you find a spouse or you find a partner who you feel like can fit into that mold, it's like, yes, this is what it's supposed to be.
Yeah.
Right? You think like your dreams have come true.
Yeah.
But then after you get married and then you have to do work, and they're like, oh no, it's no longer convenient. Like, it's no longer easy.
Yeah.
Like, why do you have like your own objectives and like expectations, and it doesn't align with what I want? Then it gets difficult.
Yeah.
Because you went into this kind of not being like realistic.
Yeah. Basically, you go into it on autopilot.
Well, yeah, because you go off of this concept of what you think marriage is, instead of understanding that marriage is different for everybody.
Yeah.
And so yeah. So that's why I think that's why I think the divorce rates are high, because everybody's cool when it's convenient. When we seem to be gelling, when we seem to be on the same page, when everything seems to be working great.
Yeah.
Yes, I do. But then that moment was like, no, he got this, she got that. Divorce.
Yeah, it's that's kind of why I said autopilot, because when you was talking when you were saying what you were saying, it was I was thinking just like what autopilot is on a plane. Like, I just think for a plane, like, it's a switch where you can just click it and sit back and just let it do what it's supposed to do.
Yeah.
And then even in the, if there's turbulence thing that's going on, you still know it's going to take you where you got to go. Instead of when the hard times come, like, you have to take it off and actually guide it.
Yeah, and that's what frustrates me the most, I think, because every relationship is not, you can't put it on autopilot.
Correct.
There may be seasons where you can have seasons of where it's on autopilot. Because you're going through something, and so the other, like, even like a friend can understand, like, they're going through something, I'm gonna give them their space, or whatever the case may be. Or y'all both are in the same phase and y'all are there's seasons of autopilot.
Yeah.
But from start to end, for any relationship, and that's even with parents.
Yeah.
Even with kids, like, it's not the same, because you're constantly changing. So you cannot expect to be able to put your relationships on autopilot for the duration.
No.
If it is, you will be like, on cruise control, what you do with your car. Yeah, it works for a certain amount of time. But then what happens when the speed limit changes? Or what happens when you gotta stop for like a train or whatever, or a stoplight, whatever? You can't do it.
You can't.
And if you do, what happens?
Yeah. And again,
an accident.
And part of that, it is, you have to be. And I guess I look at it like this. You have to have goals. You have to be able to, because you got to be able to have the vision to see it. If you're just leaving it on autopilot, are you paying attention to what's going on?
Not as much as you would if you're actually driving.
Exactly. So that's why it's like if you're seeing the things, you're watching what's going on, you'll be able to, pull the car over when you're starting to see, okay, we need to work something out. We need to figure this out, instead of just like, oh well, I'm just gonna let the tire pop. Let's just keep driving. Like, no, you have to slow down, stop, regroup, and then keep going. So, what was it? So where's the other thing? There was something else that I wanted to kind of talk about. Because I read something. It was like it was a little post by this guy Kenneth Blanchard. It was like the difference between and I'm gonna put convenience instead of he put interest, but I'm saying difference between convenience and commitment. When it's convenient, you're doing something. Let me start over. When you I just realized he put it in there.
Take your time.
Yeah. I'll just read how he wrote it. It makes more sense. Okay. There's a difference between interest and commitment. When you're interested in doing something, you do it only when it's convenient. When you're committed to something, you accept no excuses, only results. So it's like, when you're being interested in something and being committed, when you're interested in doing something, you do it only when it's convenient. When you're committed to something, you make time to do it. So like in a relationship, in your marriage, you have to make that time. You have to be intentional about things. You can't just let those things fall by the wayside. Yeah. And that's and I look at it as being, I look at it as in like communication. That's the same thing. Like when you have a miscommunication, it could be for anything. Like when you're driving a car, if you're going the wrong way, if you're going the wrong direction, now it's easy for us because, with GPS it recalibrates. You go the wrong way, it communicates. Okay, you're going the wrong way. Let's get you back. Yeah, let's get you back on track. But it's not so easy in a relationship with doing communication because we have feelings. Some people, you don't want to open up, or there's a lot of different reasons that come by in it. I gotta sneeze.
Okay.
Go.
I would say it's hard when you haven't invested the time to do the work to get to know each other.
Okay.
Because there are times when we are not necessarily communicating well. And it's not for a lack of effort. Yeah. It's just like whatever I'm saying is not being received how I want it to. Yeah. But I can tell that we're not on the same page. Either by your response or your body language or something. Like there's a way that I can say things and I see it doesn't land. And then that's when I follow up. Gotcha. Because I'm like, okay, I can see, I can tell something, or even if I feel like it wasn't like it didn't land correctly, I would check in. I'd be like, okay, so do you understand what I'm saying, or do you understand where I'm coming from? Like I can do that check in that moment to then remedy whatever. Yeah. But that takes effort. It takes commitment, and. I mean, to be fair, I don't always make that. I don't always make the effort. Sometimes I'm like, well, he should know. Like, we've been together he should know. Yeah. Which is not fair. But, sometimes I'm like, he should know. And I'll come back to it later because I just can't put the time and effort necessary to make sure that we are on the same page. I feel like it's kind of like, but I feel like that's still, even in walking away, that's an intentional effort. Like I made an intentional decision, like right now, I don't have the energy. I can't make the commitment to make sure we're on the same page. Correct. But I'm also not going to escalate the situation to make it worse than it already is. We're just going to table it and come back. But yeah, so I understand all that to say. Give you time to sneeze and all the things.
And it didn't come out.
Okay.
So, that's good because, kind of like you said, it's like it can be very convenient for you just to be like, you know what? Like you said, I'm just gonna walk away. I'm just gonna walk away, and because that's the easy way to do it instead of doing the work to be able to, because again, we made a commitment, when we got married. So, with that commitment, it involves a lot of different aspects. And for me, a lot of it, I'm not saying a lot of it, but it takes action. It's not something like I said, that you can just let it pass by. Intentional means, for me, like when you're being intentional, it's an action behind being intentional.
Yes.
So you can't just be like, I'm being intentional, but just be like, he's supposed to know. That's not being intentional. Like, if like I would say he, but if I don't understand, kind of like you said, if I don't understand, you have to be like, okay, let's see how I can, not so much get him to understand, but so he can hear what I'm saying, so he can be in my shoes and see, so he can get that empathy. That's what the word. Couldn't think of the word. I was like, trying to get the word. Be, empathetic to what you're saying rather than just trying to shove whatever you're trying to tell down his throat.
Right, because I think so often we waste so much time trying to convince the other person to see things our way. And it's not gonna happen.
Yeah.
Especially if it's strong feelings associated to whatever it is, it's not gonna happen. You're wasting your time. Don't do it. Rather than trying to convince someone to see it the way you see it, explain your heart behind why you feel that way, so that there is a level of respect for the way that you're feeling, and it's not and there's an understanding. But there's no way that I can convince you to change the way you feel about a certain thing. And I think that goes back to the commitment. It's more convenient to blame.
Point fingers.
Yes.
Yeah.
If you don't see it my way, you're wrong, I'm right. And not work to do, and not do the work necessary.
Correct.
To offer up how you feel and why you feel the way you feel.
Correct.
To get an understanding. And that, I think, is a major reason why there's a lot of disconnection in relationships. Because if I'm trying to always convince you that you're wrong, what does that say about us being in a relationship?
I don't know what I'm doing.
Right.
Yeah, I don't know what I'm doing.
And also, if I'm always wrong, why do you want to be with me?
Correct. Yeah.
If I can't get it right, if I can't understand, why do you want to be with me?
Why you want me here?
Exactly. And then, therefore, I'm going to start doing less and less because everything's always my fault.
Yeah.
No, that's not how you do it. Sorry, I just hit the mic, y'all. I'm sorry if that changes the sound. But yeah, and so I think it's because of that, I don't know what it is, as far as the blame and wanting to be right. But I mean, that's why I don't force marriage on anybody. If y'all been in a committed relationship and it's working out for you guys, great.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna be like, oh, so when y'all getting married? It's y'all need to get married. Why y'all dragging your feet? No, because marriage is when you say I do, that's how we end every episode.
Yeah.
With because the real work begins at I do. Once you say I do, that's when all of the things become a thing.
Yeah.
Literally, all the things become a thing. And so it's not for the weak at heart. You definitely have to be able to navigate between your seasons of convenience. Not even your seasons, because you don't get seasons.
Yeah.
You get moments.
Yeah, I was
saying moments of convenience versus stages of commitment.
Yeah. No, because when you said it like that, just one of the things we had a conversation with maybe 2 weeks ago, maybe 3.
Yeah,
Just about, for me, like I work from home and I'm, and I don't really go out anywhere. But sometimes, like I said, when I went to the food shop, you say, you gotta go to, no, I wanna go.
yeah.
I wanna get out the house because I'm always in the house. So yeah, I can easily just, it can be convenient for me to be like, I'm just not, I'll say it like this, I'm just not gonna do anything because I'm always doing something 6 days a week. Mm-hmm. But no, it's like, yeah, I still let me go out the house and do something instead of me just sitting in the house, getting groceries delivered. I'll go to the store, gets me out the house for a little bit. Not say for my mental sake, but it's just for me to do something different than I'm always doing. Mm-hmm. So.
No, I mean, well, we had that conversation because it was a thing. Like, what was getting ready for school when I went shopping?
Yeah.
Yeah. So usually
you go by yourself.
The convenience is for me to just do the school shopping for the kids, and so this is what I thought. I thought I was exactly. I thought I was doing something that would be convenient for me and Jay because that will allow him to do whatever he wanted to do. And I had said, initially I was like, we can both go. Yeah. We're gonna go with a friend, a family friend. So I was like, we can all just go. Yeah. And then when I realized that it was just gonna be the wives, I was like, well, it will be the wives and the boys.
Yeah.
So I was like, hey, there's no need for you to go to shopping because now you get to just have the day to yourself. This is what I thought. Mm-hmm. You have the whole day to yourself. I'm going to take the boys and we're going to go, we're going to shop and get them situated for the, beginning of school. And it's going to be convenient because they're there. They're going to try on the things and then you can do whatever you want to do. Mm-hmm. Not realizing that I just created a whole situation because it was convenient for me, but he actually wanted to be involved in the process because he wanted to get out of the house. Yeah. I didn't know that was like a new thing for us.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. No,
And so we had to have a conversation as to why it became, because when I came back, I was just noticing, I'm like, something seems to be off. I'm like, what's going on? Yeah. And us having the conversation that what used to be convenient was no longer convenient.
Yeah.
But you got to talk. As I said, things are constantly moving, constantly changing. I didn't even know it was a thing. Literally, I was like, honestly, initially, I was like, I just gave you the whole day to yourself, by yourself. What are you talking about? Yeah. Like, I should be given the Wife of the Week award because I took this on and you didn't have to deal with the annoyance and then the crowds because it was not a great time to actually go school shopping. Yeah. So I was like, I took on that burden, that pain, the inconvenience. So that you could just do whatever you want. And he was just like, I would have rather been there. And I'm like, what? No, I'm sorry. That's not what you're supposed to say. You're supposed to say, you're the best wife ever and the best mom. And because of this, I salute you. And it didn't happen.
See, and that's what being in a committed relationship is about.
Yes, to have those conversations and to be uncomfortable in those moments. Because like I said, I was expecting something. It goes back to unspoken expectations. Yeah. I was expecting to be appreciated for taking on that. Yeah. And he was like, but you didn't have to do that by yourself. And I was like, that's not what you're supposed to say though. You're supposed to say, you're the best wife and mother there is. And I salute you for taking that on. Yeah. But anyways, we had the conversation. We understood. I honestly understood where he was coming from. Because I never considered that to be a thing. Yeah. Well, also, too, because this is also new for us. Yeah. And so I was just like, okay. Yeah. So my previous my previous assumptions were no longer valid. Yeah. And so I can't just rely on that any longer. It's a matter of we have to reset.
Yeah.
And what does that mean? And so
because even now it's like it's not that she's just gonna go do something. Like you cool with me? I'm like, yeah, go ahead. Like I'm just about yesterday. Like
Yeah.
like we had these conversations now. Like
we do have those conversations.
so it's not just and I'll say like this: the original when it happened. I really was because I was amped. I was kind of excited, like, oh, we're about to go together. And then the last, okay, no, I'm good. We gonna go. I was like I was dressed and ready to go. I was about to put my shoes on, and she just, I'm just taking the boys and go. I'm like, what?
Yeah.
I felt like I say like this. I felt like the dog. I felt like a dog. Like you going. What? No, I'm just. This is the only way I can think of it. It's like you going to a park. You leave the dog and let the dog play with other dogs, and you going to talk to somebody. That's like I was just sitting there just watching you just leave. Like I was like, what am I supposed to do now? Like I don't know nobody. Like that's kind of like that's the only way I can think of.
I don't know nobody. Okay.
I'm just saying that's how it was. It was like I don't know nobody.
Okay.
So, but no, like I said, but now again. That's part of kind of like, what we're talking about, the whole with convenience and commitment. It's like, being committed, she realized, and because she knows me, she realized that there was something wrong with me. Mm-hmm. And she was like, she could have just been like, you know what, he's tripping and just keep it moving. The convenience part.
Yeah, I could have been like... Yeah. I could have been in my own feelings.
Yeah.
Like I'd be like, how dare he not? What is his problem?
Yeah.
I'm the one that was dealing with all them people and dealing with.
Ooh, sorry, I water.
Teenage, wannabe, almost preteen, whatever they call them, preteen. Like I was the one dealing with that.
Yeah.
While you was at home, doing whatever. You had the freedom to do whatever. I could have definitely taken it personally.
Yeah.
But I didn't because I was like, because it's also too for Jay to feel some kind of way when it comes to shopping. I was like, there is something there because he usually is not that way. Yeah. Typically, which is why I was like, it's convenient. It's convenient for me, literally, to do all the shopping for everybody in the house. Because Jay is not gonna shop because if it ain't got 15,000 holes in it. He's like, it's still good.
That's what I'm talking about.
And that's for everything.
That's that good stuff.
Head to toe. So I'm just like, I'm used to, it's convenient for me to do the shopping for the family. Yeah. So that's why I was like, but for him to feel some kind of way, I then had to take the approach of giving him the space to actually say what it was and to not take it personally and just be like, okay, so I know something's going on. Let us have this conversation. Because also, too, I'm a firm believer in, yes, I know husbands are the head of the household and that. I do feel like wives and mothers we create the atmosphere, the environment of a home. Mm-hmm. And so if there's anything that is off, I feel like it is my job to address or at least identify, and then let us figure out what it means to remedy that. Okay. If it's a conversation that, like if it's with the kids, it's a conversation that we need to have, like we need to have a family meeting, or do we need to have a conversation between us? Like what is it? Yeah. Because I'm a firm believer on your home should be the place where everybody can be authentic, but respectful and be refreshed and restored. Mm-hmm. And if anything is happening where that's off, we have to address it.
Yeah. So I guess regarding what we just talked about convenience, you got anything else that you can think about versus convenience versus commitment?
No. I'm sure if you say the marriage events tip, I'll think of something else. So honestly, I'm gonna take kind of a phrase that
I heard from Pastor Dorian, and he said that, commitment is like we stuck together. Like,
Oh, yeah.
we have, like, being stuck together means that whatever forces come our way, we have to work together to figure it out. It's not about, when, pressures come that we say, you know what, I'm out. You can't, like, no, you're committed. I'm stuck with you, thick and thin, like, I'm stuck with you. So I can't just easily just walk away from it.
Yeah, it's that ugly part, man. The ugly part of relationships and marriage, it'll get someone.
Yeah.
So you have to be committed. You have to be loyal to the cause.
You gotta be, like, it's honesty. Like I said, I kind of said, like, honesty, being dedicated, selflessness, and then just having your goals, your values, and what I wrote, and the vision aligned. Because, and I guess I look at it as in a being convenient relationship, you're not worried about any of those things. It's really just more about, okay, what can you do for me? And how much can I get from you? It's not about, okay, our goals, our values, and our vision are aligned. Okay, but what is it that I can do, that I can be more vulnerable towards my spouse, more dedicated. Like, what are the things that I'm not doing, that's helping lift my spouse up, that's helping them grow? What are the things that they want to do? How can I help them? Like, all those different things. When you're thinking about convenience, you're not thinking about that stuff. So.
I will say, I know it's gonna happen. I will say, though, when you're committed, being committed to a goal does not equal being committed to the plan. Because a goal, there are various paths, there are various plans to execute a goal.
Correct.
So you have to be committed to that goal, but the plans can fluctuate, so you need to be able to be flexible and be able to pivot from a plan to also then still achieve the ultimate goal.
Correct.
And I think that is where people get confused. It's like, oh, I have this plan for my life. I have a plan for my marriage. And the moment it goes off plan or off script, they want to throw it all away.
Yeah.
But the goal is still the goal. Your plan has to change. Sometimes, there's road construction. Like if you're taking a road trip, there's road construction. You got to take a detour.
Yeah.
It does not keep you from your ultimate destination. You might just have to go around a little bit or do whatever. And so I think people need to stay committed to the purpose of their marriage instead of being... instead of the convenience of a plan.
No, it's, again, I'm not going to add any more to that because what you said was enough. Sorry. What you said is enough. So, as always, we like to thank you guys for listening to us, watching us. Share this with anybody.
Anybody, everybody.
Yeah. Comment, let us know what you think.
Yes.
Because I know I know it hits in a lot of different facets, not just in relationships, as in kind of how I talked about in the beginning, like, serving in church, all those different things. Like, you have to be committed to it. If you're not committed to something, it's always something that easily fall off.
Can fall into
So, I guess until next week.
Because remember, the real work begins at I do. Peace.